Have you ever felt the surge of an idea, a brilliant dream taking root in your mind, sparking a fire within you? That exhilarating moment when you envision a future project, a personal transformation, or a grand aspiration that promises to reshape your world. It's a powerful sensation, isn't it? A feeling of boundless energy, of limitless possibility. But what if I told you that the very act of sharing that dream too soon could be its undoing? That the initial praise, the well-meaning encouragement from others, could inadvertently steal the wind from your sails before you even leave the harbor. This isn't about secrecy for secrecy's sake, but about the profound, often overlooked power of silent incubation. It's about understanding that some dreams, much like delicate seeds, require a period of quiet, undisturbed growth before they are ready to face the light of day. To announce them prematurely can often deplete the very motivation and energy needed to bring them to fruition. As the initial rush of external validation provides a false sense of accomplishment, tricking our minds into believing the work is already done. Consider Lucas, a young man brimming with talent and an endless well of enthusiasm. Lucas was a dreamer, a visionary, always sketching grand designs and imagining magnificent creations. He'd wake up with a new idea almost every week, a revolutionary new piece of furniture, a complex machine that would simplify daily chores, a beautifully intricate carving. Each time, his excitement was palpable. He'd rush to tell his friends, his family, anyone who would listen, about his latest epiphany. "I'm going to build the most incredible desk you've ever seen," he'd exclaim, his eyes shining with conviction. "It will have hidden compartments and a self-adjusting surface, and it will be made of the finest oak." His friends, always supportive, would offer words of encouragement. "That sounds amazing, Lucas. You're so clever." His mother would beam. "I can't wait to see it," his father would add. And in those moments, Lucas felt a profound sense of satisfaction. The praise, the admiration in their eyes was intoxicating. It felt good, really good. He would bask in the glow of their approval, feeling as though he had already accomplished something significant. But then, a strange pattern would emerge. A few days later, the initial fervor would begin to wane. The intricate plans for the desk would remain just plans half-sketched on paper. The finest oak would stay in the timber yard. The self-adjusting surface would exist only in his imagination. He'd move on to the next grand idea, announcing it with the same gusto, only for it to meet the same fate. His workshop was a graveyard of unfinished projects, a half-carved bird, a machine with only a few gears assembled, a desk frame gathering dust. Lucas was a master of beginnings, but a stranger to endings. He sought praise before taking action, and consequently, never completed anything truly substantial. He grew increasingly frustrated with himself. Why did his motivation always evaporate? Why couldn't he see things through? One evening, disheartened by yet another abandoned project, he sought out Mira, the village elder, a woman known for her quiet wisdom and her ability to bring complex ideas into simple, understandable terms. Myra listened patiently as Lucas poured out his heart, detailing his endless cycle of grand announcements and disheartening failures. When he finished, she smiled gently, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Lucas," she began, her voice soft yet resonant, "your dreams are like seeds, precious, full of potential, but incredibly delicate in their earliest stages." She picked up a small, smooth stone from her table, turning it over in her fingers. "Imagine this stone is a seed. If you plant it in rich soil, in the quiet darkness, and give it the time and protection it needs, what happens?" "It grows," Lucas replied, a little confused. "Exactly. It sends down roots, it gathers strength, it pushes through the soil when it is truly ready. It doesn't announce its intentions to the world before it has even begun to sprout. It works in silence, drawing sustenance, building its core strength, unseen." She then looked directly at him. "But what if, the moment you planted that seed, you dug it up every day to show everyone, 'Look, I've planted a seed'? Isn't it wonderful? What would happen then?" Lucas paused, the metaphor slowly sinking in. "It would never grow," he murmured. "It would wither and die." "Precisely," Myra affirmed. "A seed needs silence and darkness to grow strong, just as your dreams need protection and silent effort. When you share your dreams too early, Lucas, you expose them to the elements before they have developed roots. And worse, you inadvertently trick your own mind. When you announce your aspirations and others praise you, your brain registers that external validation as a reward. It's like receiving a medal for a race you haven't even run. Your mind, in its cleverness, believes the goal has already been achieved. That initial fire, the burning motivation to do the work, is extinguished because the reward has already been collected. You waste the precious energy meant for action on words, on seeking external approval, instead of channeling it into the silent, arduous, but ultimately fulfilling process of creation. Mira continued, "True pride, Lucas, comes not from what you say you will do, but from what you have done. It's the quiet satisfaction of seeing a project through, of overcoming challenges in solitude, of knowing that your hands and your will brought something into existence. That kind of pride is a steady flame, not a fleeting spark." Lucas left Mira's home that night with a new understanding. He decided to put her words into practice. The very next day, a new idea sparked within him. He would build a simple, sturdy, wooden chair. But this time, he said nothing. Not a word to his family, not a whisper to his friends. He bought the wood, brought it back to his workshop, and closed the door. For weeks, he worked in silence. There were moments of frustration, certainly. Tools slipped, wood splintered, joints didn't fit perfectly. In the past, he would have run out, complained, sought sympathy, and then given up. But now he remembered Mira's words. He protected his dream, nurturing it in the quiet darkness of his effort. He learned from his mistakes, patiently recut pieces, and refined his technique. There was no audience to applaud his progress, no one to commiserate with his setbacks. It was just him and the wood and the growing chair. Finally, after much diligent work, the chair was finished. It wasn't ornate or revolutionary, but it was strong, beautifully crafted, and perfectly balanced. He carried it out of his workshop, not with a flourish or an announcement, but simply placing it in the corner of his living room. His mother was the first to notice. "Lucas, where did this beautiful chair come from?" she exclaimed, running her hand over its smooth surface. "Did you buy it?" Lucas just smiled, a deep, genuine smile that reached his eyes. "No, mother," he said, "I made it." There was no boastfulness in his voice, only quiet satisfaction. His parents and friends gathered, admiring the chair, surprised and impressed. "Why didn't you tell us you were working on this?" his father asked, genuinely curious. And the pride of doing it, of seeing it through, is far greater than any praise I could have received from merely talking about it. From that day forward, Lucas's approach changed entirely. He continued to dream, but he learned to protect those dreams. He worked diligently in the quiet solitude of his workshop, letting his hands and his focus guide him. He became a skilled craftsman, respected not for his grand pronouncements, but for the tangible, beautiful objects he brought into the world. His finished work spoke for itself, far more eloquently than any words ever could. So, the final advice remains clear. Guard your dreams. Protect that initial spark, that nascent idea. From the premature glare of public scrutiny and the deceptive warmth of early praise, let your aspirations take root in the fertile soil of silent effort and dedicated action. Conserve your energy, channel your motivation into the doing, the building, the creating. Let your completed work be the only announcement you need, and you will find a deeper, more enduring sense of accomplishment than any words could ever provide. For true power, true progress, often begins in the quiet. Unspoken commitment to see a dream not just imagined, but realized. Asterisk, asterisk, if this story touched your heart, help spread the message. Like the video, share it immediately, and hit that subscribe button with the bell so you don't miss the next inspiring lessons. See you again soon.